Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Amber Miller, Vice President of LTL at FreightPlus, and I'm happy to be here today for this Q&A style webinar on mastering LTL shipping and avoiding costly mistakes. To give you some background on FreightPlus, we're a managed transportation and brokerage company dedicated to simplifying complex logistics for our clients. Our goal is to provide clarity, control, and confidence throughout the entire shipping process. LTL shipping is an essential part of supply chains, but it does come with unique challenges, from freight classifications to carrier selection to avoiding unexpected fees. Today, I'll be answering some pre-written questions based on real challenges shippers face daily. These will be displayed on the screen, and I'll provide insight, strategies, and best practices. If you have additional questions after this webinar, please feel free to reach out. So let's go ahead and dive into the first question. What are the biggest mistakes shippers make with LTL packaging, and how can they be avoided? So I feel like one of the most common mistakes we see is just using insufficient packaging for LTL shipments. Unlike truckload shipments, LTL freight is handled multiple times, and this increases the risk of damage. To avoid this, always use quality pallets, shrink wrap, and banding to secure your freight. Another mistake is failing to use corner protectors or just reinforcing fragile items. Investing in some of that proper packaging up front can end up saving you from costly claims later. Next question. What are the best practices for stacking and palletizing freight to prevent damage in transit? First, always ensure your freight is evenly distributed on the pallet. Any overhanging freight is always more prone to damage, and any unbalanced loads can shift in transit. So stack your heaviest items on the bottom, and then lighter, and then your more delicate items on top. So use that stretch wrap and strapping to secure everything tightly. And then finally, label your shipments clearly. If you have something fragile, use the label. If you have something that you do not need to be stacked, use the label. These indicators will help the carrier move the freight exactly how it needs to be moved. Next question. How does freight density impact LTL pricing, and why is it so important? So now more than ever, density plays a major role in LTL pricing because carriers are aiming to optimize the space in their trailers. Instead of just pricing by weight, they're looking at how much room your freight takes up. So that lower density shipments use more space for less weight, which drives up the cost per pound. On the other hand, your denser freight takes up less space and is more cost effective, often resulting in better rates. That's why it's so important to measure your freight accurately, your length, width, height, and weight, and then apply that correct NMFC classification. So doing so helps you avoid that reclassification charges, which can get costly, and then also just keeps your shipment moving smoothly. Why are NMFC codes necessary, and what are the risks of misclassifying your freight? So NMFC codes determine how your freight is classified and priced. Misclassifying freight can lead to expensive reclassification charges, billing disputes, and often delays. The best practice, again, is to ensure all your dimensions and weights are accurate and match the correct NMFC classification. If you're unsure, you can use a dimensioning system, or you can even consult with your carrier or transportation management provider. Consulting with someone can help you prevent some of these costly mistakes later down the road. All right, why should shippers diversify their LTL carrier portfolio instead of relying on just one provider? This is a great question. So relying on a single carrier may seem super convenient at the time. It simplifies communication and operations on the surface, but it also comes with risks. Capacity constraints, unexpected rate hikes, service disruptions, or even something as simple as a missed pickup can have a much bigger impact when you don't have an alternative in place. So diversifying your LTL carrier portfolio gives you that flexibility to find the best rate, allows you to maintain your service, and also adapt quickly when issues arise. After all, putting all of your eggs in one basket is fine until that basket actually hits a pothole or it takes a detour. But diversification isn't just about spreading freight around randomly. The real value comes from being strategic. That's where a knowledgeable transportation provider makes all the difference. When you work with someone who truly understands each carrier's strengths, whether it's a regional coverage, accessorial handling, maybe transit speed or customer service, you can match the right carriers to the right lanes instead of just defaulting to a one-size-fits-all solution. This approach can create just more stability, can improve your overall performance, and it helps you build those long-term, good, solid carrier relationships that you're looking for. Next question. How can shippers strategically build stronger relationships with carriers to secure better service? Consistency is the key. While it can be tempting to chase short-term savings by switching carriers year after year whenever those increases come about, that approach often comes at a cost of service or long-term efficiency. Working with carriers that understand your freight profile and lanes allow you to build trust. It helps you streamline that communication to the carrier and then unlock more competitive, stable pricing over time. Again, providing accurate shipment details up front, minimizing last-minute changes, and make your freight attractive by reducing dwell time. Strong strategic partnerships lead to better service, fewer disruptions, and real value beyond just the rate. Next question. What are the most common mistakes on a bill of lading and how do they impact costs? Probably one of the biggest ones, incorrect weight, missing NMFC codes, and vague descriptions are common bill of lading mistakes. These will always lead to unexpected charges. So ensure your bill of lading details are accurate before shipping. Double check your weight, double check your dimensions, and double check that your classification codes are correct. And this should help you avoid some of those billing disputes. How can accurate descriptions and proper labeling reduce unexpected reclassifications or fees? Again, be specific in your descriptions. Instead of just writing machinery, specify electric pump NMFC 133300 class 85. So clear, detailed bill of ladings prevent misclassification and will save you time and money on the back end. How does dwell time impact costs and carrier relationships, and what can shippers do to reduce it? So carriers charge detention fees when drivers are kept waiting too long at the pickup or delivery, but the impact goes beyond just that added cost. Extended dwell times can affect your freight. It can affect how it's prioritized moving forward. So carriers want to keep their drivers moving smoothly, and when they encounter frequent delays, it can influence their willingness to accept future loads or just affect service levels like pickup windows and transit times. To reduce some of that dwell time, make sure your loading docks are organized and ready when carriers arrive. Implement scheduled appointments if you can, and also avoid overbooking pickup windows. Communicate proactively if you have a delay. Reach out to the carrier via or email, phone, and then provide clear instructions for the drivers on where they're supposed to go and who to contact. A smooth, efficient pickup or delivery process, it will help the carrier stay on schedule, and it makes your freight more appealing to haul. What operational adjustments can companies make to improve loading and unloading efficiency? One of the simplest ways, I think, to do this is just improving your load and unloading efficiency is to look at what can be done before the carrier gets there. So start by pre-staging your freight. Put it near the dock doors ahead of the scheduled pickup times. This means having your shipments fully packaged, labeled, and ready to go out the door. So there's no scrambling at the last moment or searching for missing pallets while the driver waits. So next, look at your dock scheduling process. Are too many carriers coming at the same time? Can your team realistically handle the volume during those windows? Implementing a more organized schedule or even using an appointment system can prevent bottlenecks and keep some of your freight flowing steadily. So when docks are available and the freight is ready, the carrier can get in and get out and stay on schedule. Also think about physical access, clear pathways, well-marked dock doors, Clear communication about where the drivers should go. Those things can help shave valuable minutes off of the process for the driver. Every minute that you can help save the carrier, it shows that you're running a more efficient operation. The bottom line is the smoother and faster your loading and unloading and process is, the more your carriers want to work with you. That kind of consistency can lead to strong relationships, better service, and in some cases, even better pricing. And the last question, I believe, what are the most important steps shippers should take immediately after discovering freight damage or loss to ensure successful LTL claim? Great question. I think the first thing to remember with freight damage or loss is that time matters a lot. So as soon as you notice damage or discover that freight is missing, the clock starts ticking on your ability to file a claim. So the very first thing you should do is document everything. Take clear, detailed photos of the damage while the freight is on the truck, if possible, and before anything is moved. Make sure your driver also notes the shortage or damage on the delivery receipt, the proof of delivery. If the proof of delivery is signed clean, it becomes much harder to prove the damage happened in transit. So that's where time is of the essence. Notify your carrier or your transportation provider just as soon as possible, ideally within like 24 hours if you can. This keeps the claim process moving and ensures you stay within each carrier's requiring window. So some of them can range between 5 and 15 days for concealed damage. Then gather all your supporting documents. You'll need your bill of lading, photos, invoices for the product, and any repair or replacement estimates. The more organized and complete your submission, the smoother your claims review process will be. So getting all of that in their hands up front will help you later on down the road. All right, so we've actually covered a lot today, from packaging best practices to reducing dwell time, avoiding reclassification charges, and even some claims topics. The key takeaway is that just some of these small changes can lead to big savings and fewer operational headaches. At FreightPlus, we specialize in helping shippers optimize their LTL operations, from carrier selection to compliance and cost-saving strategies. If you need personalized guidance, feel free to reach out by using the QR code or contact me via email. Both should be on your screen now. So thank you all for joining, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.